And welcome back to the Leeds Lens as we react to the worst, Leeds United losing to the worst team in the Premier League. And you could argue with the performance we just put out, maybe we're the worst team in the Premier League because that was absolutely pathetic. And you know, when I usually come on this channel, I'm usually rational and I'm a bit reasonable. I am just fuming. And I'm not even fuming at the players that have played today. I'm fuming at the lineup that we've actually fielded. I mean, we have fielded the worst winger combination I have seen at the club fielded in about half a decade. It is horrendous. Aronson and Harrison's our wingers in the Premier League. I mean, I looked at it and thought, we're never going to score today, are we? We're never going to score a goal. And whoopie-doo, they got dragged off in the 60th minute, having done nothing all game. Aronson actually got set up by Harrison for a chance in the first half. But of course, unlike anyone watching the show today, Aronson can't even hit the ball with any sort of conviction, completely scuffs the chance. I think people in the chat would have put a better shot in. I'm just, oh my God, I am fuming with that today. We talked about in the last match reaction, I remember saying a line, something along the lines of, there's ways to lose games and there's ways to win games. And the Spurs game, we lost it in a certain way. We played well, but we lost it in a certain way. Today is just garbage. And people are going to go, Daniel Farke out, and we're going to get these people that, regardless of what happens, it's just Daniel Farke out. Oh, it's Farke out. It must be all his fault. All right, what are you going to do with Harrison and Aronson as your wingers then? Tell me, what are you going to do? Are they fantastic wingers? Are they going to score loads of goals? No, of course they're not. What's he meant to do? It's a Let me show you the lineup. Let me show you the lineup that we fielded. Let's have a look at this. Whoopie-doo. Harrison and Aronson on the wings. With, let's be honest, I like the midfield, but it's workmanlike at best. That's what it is. The three workhorses, Stack's a workhorse, Longstaff's a workhorse, Ampadu's a workhorse. That is what they are. They're built for defensive solidarity. So if you're going to play that midfield, you've got to have something going forward, especially in the wide areas. You've got to have Aronson on the wing, who's actually half decent. You've got to have a winger on the left, who's half decent. When you're playing against a Burnley team, by the way, who are garbage, I mean, that is the worst team I've ever seen in the Premier League. They are horrendous. I mean, they can't even keep the ball. Yes, this lad here scored an absolute world in the second half because Stack decided he didn't want to close his man down. Ampadu couldn't be bothered tracking as well. I mean, Struitt give away crap passing defence. And by the way, why is he still playing? Why is Biol not come in yet? We've paid £18 million. We've sacrificed the attack, so we're having to field Aronson and Harrison on the wings. So what we'll do is, rather than playing the player that we've paid £18 million for, we'll sack that off and we'll just go and get. We'll just put Biol in at centre half. We won't put Biol in centre half. We'll carry on what we're in the Championship. It's just garbage. It's absolute garbage. Let me get into your guys' comments. This game is absolutely reeked of a Championship game. Yeah, it did. It was. It reeked of a Championship game. It was Championship level. In fact, I would argue that the game that we played at home against them last season was a better standard. Because as I said, that is the worst. That is the worst winger combination. We was thinking back, me and my brother in the first half. When have we fielded a worse winger combination than that? I can't remember it. Now, there is context to apply to this. Yes, that we've got 3 injuries out wide. And I thought when James came on, he looked like a better winger. But the fact that we've got to start with them two is just an absolute embarrassment. I'd have rather had Sam Chambers on the wing. Honestly. Aronson and Harrison, nothing of substance here. Exactly. There's nothing. They don't provide anything. And as I said, I don't want to make this a big rant because this team have given us a good time last year. Yes, they've got promoted. But we have now, for me, made the worst start of every promoted side. And people are going to talk about, yeah, but Scott, Burnley are a point behind us. They are, but they've played Man United away. They've played Liverpool. They've played Man City away. They've played all these teams. We haven't done that. We've played against Arsenal away, fine. And we've played against Newcastle at home. But as I said, they've played Liverpool, they've played Man City, they've played Spurs away, which we've played, by the way, at home. They've played Man United away. They've played all 4 of them. And they're only a point behind us, by the way. They've made a better start than we have now. And I knew this was going to be the situation going into it because I knew if we didn't win today, then the table would completely spin. I knew it would. We've had a good start to this season before today. We've had a good start to the season. We have. We've done quite well at times. We've done all right so far this season. 8 points before today was looking all right. Today was going to be a game changer either way. If we won today, I think everyone looks at it and goes, what a start we've had. And I think if we lost today, like we now have, everyone looks at it and goes, actually, it's probably pretty crap now, the start we've had, isn't it? It's probably actually garbage, really, now. So yeah, that's where we're at. I've got a few things to say about a few certain players, though. Let's start with Stack in the midfield. Stack's not better than Tanaka. He ain't a better midfielder than Tanaka. I'm sorry, he's not. And I know Tanaka was good, wasn't good when he came on. I don't think anyone was particularly good when they came on, except James, who I did think did more than Aronson and Harrison, who were basically not worth being there. But I thought James did all right when he came on, but Tanaka's a better midfielder than Stack. He is. Why do we have to lose a game for him to make changes? Why is that? And I am not blaming it on Daniel Farke, because I know today why we lost. We have got nothing in the attack. I get that. The wingers are garbage. They're absolutely garbage that we started with today. And I get that. But what I don't understand for the life of me is why on earth, why Tanaka long-term can't be in this team in the midfield? Maybe today, all right, fine. Because obviously he's been in international duty, he's been flying from Japan, fine, he might be a bit... But he started Aronson, by the way, who'd been doing the same thing, flew from America. But fair enough, all right, fine, today. But on Friday night, Stack has to come out this team, and it has to be Tanaka in the midfield, because he's better. He's just a better midfield player. We've already got Longstaff and Ampadu, who are there as physical players who are going to win the ball and workman-like players. We don't need another one. Go put Tanaka in, who's got a bit more class, can get on the ball, can dictate the play a bit. That's what we need from him. We don't need another workman-like midfielder. So, or Longstaff, take Longstaff out. He wasn't that great today, Longstaff. I didn't think he played that well at all, Longstaff, today. So you can take Longstaff out of the team if you'd like and keep Stack in. But you can't have both of them when you've got Tanaka, who offers something different in the midfield, on the bench. So one of them has to come out. Then in defence, Biol's got to come out of the team because Strout's got to come out of the team and Biol's got to come in. We spent £18 million on Biol. We've now conceded another goal from a cross coming into the box where Leslie Lugachuku has got a completely free header in the box, and the player we bought to win headers in the box is sat on our bench still, having now conceded loads of set-piece goals and loads of balls into the box. Yes, he's a midfielder, and maybe Ampadu, Stack or Longstaff, one of our workman-like midfield, should have been in there to help. Potentially, I can get on board with that. But still, Biol's the best header at the club. Get him in at centre-half. Get him in at centre-half. He needs to now play. We spent £80 million on him. And I'd say the same with the goalkeeper. I don't think Darlow did loads wrong today. Yeah, for the was it the first goal, he decided just to belt it out, which we know Perry does anyway, so I'm not going to look at that for Perry's better. But what I would say is, again, we've spent, £15 million on Perry because we need to start him, and we thought Darlow wasn't good enough, so we bought Perry this summer. So put Perry into the goal because, he's meant to be this better goalkeeper. So start him. Start Biol, start Perry, get Tanaka into the midfield for starters. Then, hopefully, against West Ham, we can have Okafor back, who is miles better. I know Okafor seems to not get a good run in this fan base. He shows today how much we miss Okafor, because Calvert-Lewin can offer stuff, but what chance does Calvert-Lewin have? Someone tell me, did he have a chance today to score a goal, Calvert-Lewin, at all? One chance to score a goal. Not even one. Nemec had a flick on at the near post when he came on. And by the way, we should have scored a goal today because Bogle should have missed an absolute sitter. Aronson missed a sitter in the first half. So there was chances. But it wasn't, I don't think there were chances from really good play from Leeds United, if I'm being totally honest. One is a Calvert-Lewin knockdown, which is fantastic, that Bogle should score. And the other one is a mistake from them that Harrison plays a nice ball into Aronson, who completely scuffs the shot. So, 49ers need to back a January shuffle, or else we'll be in trouble. Yeah, we need a winger. We need to go buy a winger in January. We've been linked to Pellegrini. We've been linked to Zielinski. We've been linked to all these different players in midfield. Gustavo Hamer. Maybe Hamer would have helped us today. But we need wingers. We don't have enough wingers at this football club that are at the level. We don't have it. We need to go and buy wingers. We have to go and get a winger in January. If it's Harry Wilson, if it's that Haig lad from Border Glimt that we were on about yesterday, go get someone and bring someone into the football club, because we don't have we don't have enough quality. Sounds a bit petty as a suggestion, Scott, but on your team display, can you flip it so Darlow's at the bottom? It always throws me off when I see it. Please, can you? I can't do it at this exact moment, mate, but I can do it for another time. It's a bit more tricky. It's not like I can do it on this. I'll tell you what I can do. We can move to this screen. Is this better? Then Darlow's in the goal still. But yeah, we can look at doing that. But they're the few things that, first of all, we've got to do. We've got to get them players back into the team. And they're on Daniel Farke, because Daniel Farke, I know, as I said, we can talk about the options that we have and the lack of options we have in the final third, but they're clear things that we can look at doing. We've bought these players, but then we can talk about what the 49ers should have done this summer, because let's be honest, we've now got a team that's not good enough. if we're being totally honest. This team isn't good enough right now. In the final third, we're completely unbalanced. We've got far too many defenders. We've spent too much money on defenders. Why have we bought Ball now for £5 million? We need attackers. Go get someone on loan. Why didn't we go for Solomon on loan? And I didn't want Solomon. But now you look back at it and think, well, actually, when we look at what we fielded today, getting Solomon in and Wilson in maybe on deadline day, which is what we should have done, by the way, because we needed two, would have been a massive help today. Because let's be honest, if we had actual proper attackers today, we probably win the game, because Burnley are horrendous. They are definitely going down. They are absolutely awful. The worst than the teams I saw in the Championship. They don't look as good on the ball. They basically just passed it back to us all game. Yes, that lad on the wing scored an absolute worldie. And yes, they scored a header from us deciding to boot it out for a throw-in, and then the ball goes in the box and we don't mark our men and he scores a header. Fantastic. But it looked Championship today. It looked like that could have been Preston North End that we were playing. We'd have still lost the game. It wasn't about the quality at all in terms of how good Burnley were. I didn't think at all. 1 win in 7. There has to be a fall guy, and it sounds like it's going to be Farke. I don't think Farke gets sacked. If I'm being totally honest, I don't think Farke gets sacked. I don't think he deserves to be sacked either. As I said, just for me, as I said, if you're thinking Farke should be sacked, fine, because we've not actually made that good a start anymore. We haven't really. As I said, for me, we've now made the worst start of all the promoted 3. Burnley have had much tougher games than we have. Sunderland are miles ahead of us. We've made the worst start now of all the promoted teams, in my opinion. So maybe there has to be a fall guy. But I don't think Farke should be sacked, because I look at that front three that we're on my screen right now. Look at the front three and tell me where a goal is coming. Because for all that Calvert-Lewin does, and Easy's going to like this, who tunes in a lot of the time, who sort of goes on that pro, Calvert-Lewin's brilliant and offers the team a lot. Knockdown's brilliant. He should have got an assist today for the knockdown he made for Bogle. He didn't even have a chance to score a goal today, but he's not a prolific goal scorer, Calvert-Lewin. We know that, which is why when Calvert-Lewin's playing up front, you've got to get people in and around him to create chances. And when you've got Harrison and Aronson as your wingers and a midfield that we have, which is workmanlike, we don't play with a number 10. That isn't really going to happen, is it? So we've got to go get get some players in January, especially in wide areas. Ellenbach says, we actually turned down Solomon late on, signed Okafor instead. Why didn't we get both, though? Like, we needed more. Daniel Farke called this, by the way, in the summer. He said we didn't have enough. He said we needed 2 more. I think we played Newcastle at home, and he came out after the game saying, we haven't got enough in the attack. We need to go get 2 more. And we all agreed with him at the time. Nobody said Daniel Farke's lying, Daniel Farke's not true, and we didn't do it. We didn't do it for whatever reason. We went for all these different players. Apparently, we had Hamer going for him. We went for Spurts, and we went for all these different players. We didn't get him. Why didn't we? Solomon was right there. He might as well be. He was begging to come to Leeds United. I'm not saying Solomon's the answer. I'm just saying give me him right now, all day, over Harris and Aronson. He's a much better player than them two. And also, we've got Ramazani playing on loan at this moment in time. Again, I understand the Ramazani reasoning, because if Daniel Farke's not going to use him, then what's the point in having him? But he would have played today. So as I said, I know people say all the time that it was Okafor or Solomon. Why was it Okafor or Solomon? I get if it was Okafor or another £18 million player, but Solomon was a loan deal. Why was it one or the other? Do you know what I mean? Why was that the case? Ellenbach says, why haven't we used the loan market? Exactly. Why haven't we used the loan market? I think the loan market should be an option to us in January, naturally, because like we've talked about, players will be going away for the international break, naturally, wanting to get into the World Cup squad, naturally, so that will help naturally us to attract players. But for the most part, why did we not do it in the summer? We've got to now not make that mistake again in January and go get some real attackers, because as I said, we just never looked like we were going to score, did we? Like against the team that really did nothing, we never looked like we were going to score a goal. But let's have a sort of a quick look at a few. Let me have a few other notes I've written down. Sorry, this is a bit of a different sort of stream. I usually like to be a bit more sort of level-headed, but it's just infuriating me. I was, to be honest, the only way that I was saving my fury, let's say today, was if we actually got a win or a decent result. Because I looked at that front three and I was like, how have we ended up in a position where we're now promoted and we've got worse, and we look like a worse team? How has that happened? Like that's bad management. It's got to be. Like if I'm Parag now, I'm going in to what's he called? I forgot. Adam Underwood. I am going into Adam Underwood's office and I'm saying, how have we ended up in a situation where in the Championship we had 4 wingers that would have started today and are better than all them? Last year, by the way, if we had these 2 starting, we'd have been down to our 5th and 6th choice winger. Because Ramazani's better than any of them. Nonto's better than any of them. Solomon's better than any of them, and Dan James is better than any of them. So we're down to this would have been our 5th and 6th winger choice last season. How has it got worse in the Prem? And then if you're looking at it as well, like, I don't want to slag off Okafor because I think he's been getting better and better. And again, you can see why we need him so desperately, because we're not good enough in attack. I get that completely. But in the same breath, should we have signed a player that's injury prone? This guy's got, if you look back at his injuries, I mean, I think he's already had one injury this year and somehow managed to avoid actually missing games. I think he did something. I remember Farke saying it in a press conference, and now he's actually out with an adductor injury. If we were so desperate for forwards and we were so desperate for wingers because we're short in the winger area, make sure the one you sign has got a perfect injury record so we can play him every week, because we know if we don't play him, what ends up happening. But no, we went for someone who's got an injury record. And I got it a bit more in other positions, but I don't get it out why, because we spent 18 million quid. Like, Calvert-Lewin makes sense because you've spent nothing on him. If you keep him fit, he offers a lot. I get that. But with the Okafor one, he's a player that's injury prone, and as I said, he's been good when he's played. But when you're short on the winger position, you can't afford to take a risk on a player that could be out injured, because we've seen his injury record. And now we're paying the price for it, if I'm being honest, because now we've ended up in a situation where, as I said, we're fielding Harrison and Aronson, because it's not all their fault. They're garbage, and they shouldn't be playing for Leeds United in the Premier League, but it's not all their fault, because the fact of the matter is we shouldn't be in a situation where they're even having to play. We lost momentum during the international break. We've done that before. Yeah, we did. Yeah, and well, we're back now from the international break, aren't we? And we've sort of fallen. The thing is, as well, today is like we actually for the most part dominated a lot of the game. Like, we actually did. Like, we had a lot of the ball. We had quite a number of chances. Not that I don't think we were massively creative, but we naturally, by having so much of the ball and getting balls into the box, you do naturally create chances. And we actually did create quite a few chances today. But we should be doing better than that, because these are the worst team in the league. They will finish bottom. It's just garbage, isn't it? It really is garbage. Let me read some more of my things. Usually I have them on screen, but I've actually written them on my phone, on my notes. But yeah, actually, do you know what? Forget it. I've talked enough. Let's just get on to player ratings, and then we'll digest it a bit more tomorrow, because we've done about 20 minutes already, and I don't want to put you guys through the pain that I'm sort of still feeling. Because usually when we finish these, I'm less angry, but I'm still quite frustrated in truth. So let's go through the team. Darlow in goal. What do we all think? I think he was not fault-free, the goal, although made it hideous, just belting it out, completely unnecessary. Now, there was a lot of phases of play after that people should have done better, but he shouldn't have belted it out for a throw-in. Let's be honest, it shouldn't have happened. I don't know, probably a 6. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong, did he? Bogle, I thought, this is one thing, by the way, I think our fullbacks are our best attackers out wide at this moment in time. Goodmanson and Bogle are our best going forward. They offer the best options out wide of all of our players. So Bogle offered, I think, a bit going forward. As I said, he was more effective than Aronson was going forward, and he's playing further back, and he's got to do defensive work. So, there's a bit of that involved. But Bogle was pretty awful. I mean, he wasn't. I'm going too far here. But he did miss a sitter that if we'd have scored that, it goes back to 2-1, and maybe we end up getting a point by nicking one late, potentially. So for the miss alone, he'll have to go down to a 5. Rodon, I don't think he did anything wrong at all. Yes, he didn't offer loads from set pieces. He get his head on one late on. I don't think either of the goals are his fault, if I'm being honest. Maybe he should do better on the first goal, but I don't think he was awful, so I'd probably give him a 6. Strout gives the ball away for the second goal. Obviously, it's a worldy goal by a guy that I'm not going to try to pronounce the name. Or shall I try? Tisha Wang? Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to do it. Strout, he's got to come out of the team for Bogle. He's not as good as Rodon, probably a 5. Goodmanson, what do we think on Goodmanson? I thought he got better in the game, actually. And I thought, as I said, he offered stuff. He put a lot of good balls in, I think. Maybe could have come away with an assist today. Probably a 6. Ampadu, I don't think he was that good today, Ampadu, if I'm being honest. Scuffed a shot in the second half. Didn't really dictate the game. Didn't get near their lad for the second goal either, which I think was a mistake. He should have been tighter there. Should have got out quicker to stop that shot coming in, but I don't think he expected it to fly into the top corner, in all fairness. But I don't think he was that great. Probably a 4. Stack, I thought it was pretty anonymous, to be honest. I don't think he did anything in the game. Had a shot in the first half from a free kick, which, all right, fine. But for the most part, wasn't particularly great today. Needs to come out, for my opinion, for Tanaka. So he'd probably get, I don't know, 4. Longstaff, worst game in a Leeds United shirt, in my opinion, definitely. I think when Longstaff's not in a physical battle and he's not battling with people constantly, I'm not sure how effective he is in just his all-round game on the ball. I don't think how good he is actually on the ball. And I think today, when he had to do a lot on the ball, I don't think we saw a lot of quality from Longstaff. He's better in a game against Newcastle where we're underdogs and he can sort of get stuck in on people. They're the sort of games that suit Longstaff. Today didn't really suit him in a game. When he has a lot of time on the ball, I don't think that's his best game, but it was definitely his worst game in a Leeds shirt. He gets a 4. Harrison Aronson, Aronson 1. Yeah, a 1 out of 10, because I would have done better, I think, on the right-hand side today than Brendan Aronson. I could have done a better shot than the goal. I fancy myself not to scuff that. He could have even took a touch. He gets a 1. And because Harrison was slightly better, because he actually set it up and put a nice little pass in for him, he can get a 2. He can get a 2 out of 10. Calvert-Lewin literally it's not his fault today at all. Didn't get any service at all. People go, Perot scores loads of goals, fine. But what chance would Perot had? Because Calvert-Lewin had none. Actually won a few flick-ons. I think he won 2 flick-ons in the first sort of 2 minutes in the game. It's a brilliant header cross for Bogle, who skied it. I thought he were all right today, Calvert-Lewin. As I said, it's hard to blame a striker when they don't get any service. Like, he didn't have a chance to score, and he's not got bad movement. I don't want to blame his movement, because I don't think it was that bad. He'd probably be a 7. I don't think he did all wrong. What did he do? What did he do wrong today, Calvert-Lewin? I don't think he did anything wrong. Daniel Farke, he's lost away at Burnley. I get it in parts, because Aronson and Harrison who else is going to play on the wing? James was obviously not fit enough to start, so I get that. But for me, Tanaka should have been playing in the midfield. I think he's better than Stack. I'd argue think he'd been better than Longstaff in the midfield as well. I would have played Biol at centre half as well. I also would have played Perry in goal, if I'm being honest as well. I'm not saying I don't think Perry saves either shot, but I would have probably played Perry in goal. So, you know, for that, he has to get... And he's also lost 2-0 to Burnley. I mean, I've been quite nice in the play ratings, except Aronson and Harrison. So I'd probably give Farke a 4. No, 3. A 3. He gets a 3 out of 10. 2 goals from Mateo Joseph today from Mallorca. Well done to Joseph. As I said, though, that isn't the difference, because even if you put Joseph up front today, he doesn't score a goal, because he's not as good as Calvert-Lewin, is he? Joseph, to be honest. So yeah, that is the video today. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been fantastic, hasn't it? It's wonderful. What a day. Who said that the international break was so bad? I've been saying all week, oh, I can't wait for Leeds to play again, because, you know, it's all going to be brilliant again, and now everything's fine. Yeah, fine. Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant. Anyway, I'll see you all later. Thanks all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed my little rant about a team that decided to lose against the worst team in the division.